incredible season. Pick a screen. Jokic at 3.
In a league driven by flash and spectacle, Nikola Jokic defies every expectation, and yet dominates all the same. From the bomb-scarred city of Sombor, Serbia, to the center of global basketball, his rise isn't just improbable, it borders on mythical. Reporters and analysts alike have tried to unpack what fueled the Joker, a man with a $276 million contract, MVP trophies lined up like chess pieces, and the rare ability to steal a game's momentum with the quietest of passes. And while his name now headlines global broadcasts and his face adorns billboards, the man behind the legend remains something of an enigma. Is it his humble beginnings that ground him? The family bond forged under NATO bombings? Or perhaps it's the unlikely balance he maintains between fierce on-court competitiveness and a lifestyle that prioritizes horseback riding over NBA stardom. Despite being surrounded by wealth and accolades, Jokic's presence remains disarmingly simple, almost deliberately ordinary. But behind that calm exterior lies a player whose dominance has redefined what an NBA center can be. And with each no-look pass and record-breaking stat line, fans and critics alike are left wondering, what hidden drive keeps this quiet powerhouse at the top? Nikola Jokic's story begins in a place and time that would crush most spirits. Born on February 19, 1995, in the modest Serbian town of Sombor, he was just 4 years old when war erupted and NATO bombs shook the very earth his apartment stood on. Living with his 2 older brothers, parents, and grandmother in a cramped 2-bedroom unit, he was surrounded by love, but also fear, scarcity, and darkness. Power outages were routine. The sounds of explosions and sirens etched themselves into his earliest memories. While many homes disintegrated around them, the Jokic family grew tighter, more determined to protect what little they had. In interviews, Nikola has rarely romanticized those days. Instead, he credits the experience with toughening his mindset and building his unshakable emotional control. He speaks of his brothers, Strahinja and Nemanja, as protectors and early mentors. Their influence, both tough and tender, would guide him from childhood games to professional courts. Even in those uncertain nights by candlelight, something in young Nikola began to form, an inner resilience, a quiet hunger that would carry through every bounce of the ball. Though his hometown wasn't a battlefield, the psychological toll of wartime hardship sculpted the Joker's iron will. It is not an exaggeration to say that Jokic learned to survive before he ever learned to dribble. Before the NBA, before the MVPs, before the spotlight, Nikola Jokic was a chubby kid who loved horses more than hoops. In Sombor, horse racing wasn't just a tradition, it was a way of life. For young Nikola, the racetrack held more excitement than the basketball court. At one point in his teens, he quit basketball entirely, choosing to train and watch horses instead. He even left one game at halftime, telling his coach he had a race to attend. His heart wasn't in slam dunks or pick and rolls. At school, he loathed physical education and avoided any strenuous activity. Unable to complete even a single push-up, he preferred history and math, and teachers remember him more as a thoughtful observer than an athlete. His return to basketball was almost accidental, nudged along by his father and inspired by his brother's enthusiasm. Playing casual games at home on a toy hoop, he began to rediscover a different kind of rhythm. The coordination, the passing angles, those came naturally. While his physique still drew mockery, what no one could deny was his sheer vision. He didn't run faster or jump higher, but he saw the game unfolding in slow motion. This early struggle between passion and expectation shaped the laid-back, emotionally distant demeanor he still carries today. To this day, Jokic often says he never dreamed of the NBA. His dreams were and remain with his horses. Jokic's real transformation began when he moved to Belgrade at just 16 to join the Mega Basket youth team. It was a sacrifice, leaving behind his close-knit family and hometown comforts, but it would become the launchpad for his rise. In those early days, he was far from a prototypical athlete. He was still overweight, lacked speed, and couldn't finish a full workout without gasping for air. But on the court, he displayed something rare: supernatural court vision, silky passing, and a basketball IQ beyond his years. By age 17, he was already making waves in the Adriatic League. The 2014-15 season would prove pivotal. He averaged 15.4 points, 9.3 rebounds, and 3.5 assists, earning league MVP and most promising player honors. Still, few scouts took him seriously. His draft stock was so uncertain that he considered pulling his name. But his agent insisted, and the Denver Nuggets quietly promised to select him in the second round. On June 26, 2014, as the NBA draft rolled on, Jokic slept soundly in Serbia. His name was called with the 41st pick, an afterthought to most. But for the Nuggets, it marked the beginning of a basketball revolution. He had gone from overlooked to undeniable. The Sombor kid was now poised to test his skills against the world's elite, and nothing would ever be the same. When Nikola Jokic first stepped onto an NBA court in 2015, few took notice. A second-round pick with a doughy frame and awkward gait, he didn't exactly fit the league's definition of elite. Yet in his debut for the Denver Nuggets, despite logging just 2 points in 8 forgettable minutes, a quiet storm was beginning to swirl. Over the following weeks, that unassuming big man from Serbia began to show flashes of brilliance. No-look passes, bounce feeds through traffic, backdoor cuts triggered by eyes in the back of his head. His court vision was something out of a different era. It wasn't speed or athleticism that separated him, it was the mind. Teammates quickly learned to stay alert. If Jokic had the ball, it could reach them in ways no one else could deliver. By the end of his rookie year, he averaged 10.7 rebounds and 2.4 assists, solid stats. But the real intrigue came from his play style, which drew comparisons to the likes of Magic Johnson and Arvydas Sabonis. In 2016-17, when the Nuggets traded Jusuf Nurkic and handed Jokic the reins, the transformation was undeniable. He averaged nearly 17 points and just shy of a double-double, but it was his nearly 5 assists per game that made headlines. Analysts struggled to categorize him. Was he a center? A point guard in disguise? A unicorn? As his signature somber shuffle floater became more recognizable and reliable, fans across the league began to realize the Nuggets had something extraordinary. This was not a fluke. Jokic wasn't just unconventional, he was revolutionary. And in a league thirsty for fresh talent, the Joker was quietly rewriting the rulebook. By the time the 2018-19 NBA season tipped off, Jokic was no longer a quirky footnote. He was the cornerstone of a rising franchise. That year, he averaged over 20 points, 10 rebounds, and 7 assists per game, becoming the first center in decades to approach triple-double territory consistently. He led the Nuggets to the playoffs for the first time in 6 years, and though they fell to Portland in a grueling 7-game series, Jokic had arrived as a bona fide superstar. But what came next stunned even his biggest supporters. In back-to-back seasons, 2020-21 and 2021-22, he was named NBA Most Valuable Player, a feat reserved for the all-time greats. The 2021 season was especially historic. Jokic became the first player in league history to record 2,000 points, 900 rebounds, and 600 assists in a single season. In 2022, he followed up by averaging 27 points, nearly 14 rebounds, and 8 assists, even as his top teammates Jamal Murray and Michael Porter Jr. sat injured. Carrying the Nuggets alone, he still brought them to the playoffs. His efficiency, leadership, and unshakable calm earned him another MVP trophy, making him the first second-round pick in NBA history to win the award twice. But his crowning moment came in the 2022-23 season when the Nuggets stormed to their first-ever NBA championship. Jokic was named Finals MVP, having averaged 30 points, 13.5 rebounds, and 9.5 assists during the playoffs. Game 3 of the Finals, where he tallied 32 points, 21 rebounds, and 10 assists, became instant legend, a performance so dominant it silenced critics forever. He was no longer just a Serbian sensation or a statistical anomaly. Jokic had become the embodiment of basketball mastery, fusing finesse and intellect in a way the league had never seen. Despite his stoic demeanor and aversion to controversy, Jokic has not been immune to heated moments and scandal. One of the most talked-about incidents in his career came on November 8, 2021, when Denver faced Miami. Late in the fourth quarter, Markieff Morris delivered a hard, unsportsmanlike foul to Jokic's back. In retaliation, Jokic shoved Morris to the ground with force that left Morris injured and lying motionless. The backlash was immediate and polarized. Some called Jokic's reaction excessive, while others defended it as justified self-defense. The NBA responded with a one-game suspension for Jokic and a $50,000 fine for Morris. While Jokic later expressed regret and reached out privately, the moment exposed a rare crack in his calm persona. Then came another high-profile episode in May 2023 during a playoff game against Phoenix. As Jokic attempted to retrieve the ball from Suns owner Mat Ishbia, who was sitting courtside, a minor altercation occurred, resulting in Jokic nudging Ishbia and receiving a technical foul. Though fined $25,000, he was not suspended, thanks in part to Ishbia publicly stating he didn't want punishment imposed. But perhaps the most damaging controversy came not from Jokic himself, but from his family. In April 2024, following a game against the Lakers, Jokic's older brother Strahinja was caught on video punching a fan who had allegedly taunted them. The clip went viral, triggering an NBA and police investigation. No charges were filed, but questions swirled about the volatile behavior of Jokic's brothers, known for fiercely protecting their younger sibling. While many argue Jokic should not be held responsible for his family's actions, critics have questioned the public image of a star whose closest allies seem prone to aggression. These incidents complicate the narrative of Jokic as the league's gentle genius, adding shades of tension to his otherwise glowing legacy. Behind every legend is a quiet, steady force. And for Nikola Jokic, that anchor is his wife, Natalia. The couple met as teenagers in Sombor, their relationship blossoming long before fame or fortune. Natalia, a former volleyball player and psychology student, stood by Jokic during his uncertain years playing for Megabasket and later followed him to Denver when he entered the NBA. Through the chaos of travel, pressure, and injury, their bond endured. On October 24, 2020, they married in an intimate ceremony in Sombor amid the COVID-19 pandemic. There were no extravagant parties or social media spectacles, just close family, traditional Serbian food, and a focus on what mattered most. Their daughter, Ognjena, born in September 2021, brought new depth to Jokic's life. He often says that being a father means more to him than MVP trophies or championship rings. Fans have seen his softer side as he cradles his daughter courtside after games or during media interviews where he lights up speaking about his family. Natalia plays a pivotal role in managing home life, allowing Jokic to focus entirely on basketball. She is also said to mediate tension between Jokic and his famously fiery brothers, serving as the emotional center of the family. Their home in Cherry Hills, Colorado, a $4.5 million estate, offers a retreat from the demands of NBA stardom. Yet every summer, they return to Sombor, walking the same streets, visiting the same racetracks, and sipping rakića with locals. Despite enormous wealth and fame, the Jokic family remains rooted in simplicity and shared values. Their quiet strength off the court is perhaps the truest testament to Jokic's character and one of the greatest secrets to his success. If basketball is Jokic's profession, then horse racing is his soul. The Serbian town of Sombor, known for its rich equestrian culture, instilled in Jokic a passion that has never waned. He owns multiple racehorses, attends local races religiously, and often describes the thrill of competition at the track as equal to that of a playoff game. In fact, after winning the 2023 NBA championship, Jokic famously skipped the Nuggets victory parade to return home and attend a race. His smile in Sombor that week said more than any press conference ever could. Jokic invests his own money into stables and equestrian training, and often spends hours tending to his horses personally. Friends and journalists who visited his hometown describe a drastically different man, one who wears boots instead of sneakers, and whose happiness comes not from crowds, but from quiet moments with animals. His passion for horse racing isn't just a hobby, it's an identity. He once stated that if he hadn't pursued basketball, he might have been a jockey or trainer. Volleyball is another interest, often played casually with friends during summer visits home. Add to that his love of Serbian turbofolk music and historical documentaries, and a fuller picture of the Joker emerges, a man of simple tastes who prefers learning in nature over celebrity culture. Despite living in America for nearly a decade, Jokic's heart and habits remain thoroughly Serbian. These passions ground him, keeping fame at bay and his priorities in check. In a world where athletes chase cameras and brands, Jokic chases horses and finds freedom in doing so. In today's era of hyper-marketed sports stars, Nikola Jokic's approach is a striking anomaly. He shuns celebrity, refuses flash, and rarely grants in-depth interviews. Yet his legacy continues to grow, one pass, one rebound, one history-making triple-double at a time. As of early 2025, Jokic is putting together one of the most dominant seasons in NBA history, averaging nearly 30 points, over 12 rebounds, and 10 assists per game. He has recorded more than 27 triple-doubles this season alone and stands as the leading contender for a fourth MVP award. His efficiency is staggering, nearly 58% from the field and 45% from three-point range. His leadership continues to elevate teammates like Jamal Murray and Russell Westbrook, guiding Denver through tough injuries and keeping them in championship contention. Off the court, Jokic's influence ripples globally. In Serbia, he is more than an athlete. He is a national hero, a beacon for young players who believe that intelligence, humility, and hard work can outshine athleticism. He donates quietly to causes he believes in, including a significant contribution to his hometown medical center during the COVID-19 pandemic. He funds basketball courts, scholarships, and club infrastructure without seeking recognition. With the 2028 Olympics on the horizon, Jokic is expected to lead Serbia once again, this time in pursuit of gold. And even as his stats soar and awards pile up, his focus remains on the essentials: family, horses, and the love of the game. In the end, Nikola Jokic may be the rarest kind of superstar, one who dominates the world stage while quietly and stubbornly remaining himself.